Hi, I'm Jason, broker owner of Starr Realty, and today's question and answer is from a seller's perspective, what should I disclose? And the answer is really simple. Everything. Everything you know about the property, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Why do I say this? Well, I'm going to share a story. I brought a buyer to a property. It was just under $1 million. We had it under agreement and he was doing his inspections. Well, unfortunately, the buyer couldn't be there, so I was there as his representative. The seller refused to leave the property. Now, it's pretty standard for a seller to leave the property during an inspection, usually because they just don't appreciate people rummaging through the house. They take that quite personally, especially if they start pointing out defects of the property. A seller has emotional attachment to it, so most people don't want to hear anything negative. The seller absolutely refused to leave. I had spoken with their agent who was there in attendance during the inspection, and he said, I've done everything I could, and she just refuses. So on top of not leaving, she was right on top of this inspector during their whole time. Again, remember the buyer wasn't there because he was going to get a full report, so he didn't feel it necessary, and due to work related appointments he couldn't. But this seller was relentless. She was all over this inspector and made him and the whole situation quite uncomfortable. So during this inspection, there was some doors open with furniture in front of the doors. So we weren't really able, or I shouldn't say the inspector really wasn't able to check behind because the seller, there was no way she was going to allow any furniture moved. So he did the best he could. And he went through the house, did the inspections, and we went ahead and closed. So we closed in the fall. The buyers came back in the spring to find on the back wall of the property, one of the sheetrock walls was saturated with bat dung. The place stunk and it was just a mess. So we called a pest inspector in. And the pest inspector says, oh, I've been to this property several times. They've had this bat problem for years, which the seller never disclosed. And the inspector, I'm not going to throw him under the bus because it was pretty cold in the fall. And for whatever reason, nobody noticed. There was no smell. There was no soft spots in the sheetrock. I mean, this inspector had been around for over 20 years. He was actually really good. So in no way do I really blame him. But the pest inspector said, oh yeah, I'm out here all the time removing the bats. So of course, not disclosing that, the buyer turned around and sued pretty much everyone. He sued the listing agent, he sued the inspector, he sued the pest man, which I never understood that. And of course, he sued the seller. So it did go to court. And fortunately, I wasn't listed in the lawsuit because I was his representative and he didn't feel that necessary. But it did go to court. He won his case. And the seller, everybody ended up paying. The seller had to pay over $50,000 because she knew of this problem and didn't disclose it. The simple answer is, Mr. Seller, disclose everything you know. Let the chips fall where they may. That's why we insist most of the time when we list a property on having it pre-inspected so we can eliminate a lot of this. But if you try to hide something, you may not believe in karma, but karma believes in you. So disclose everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. Let the price reflect everything found and keep yourself out of court. I hope this story helped. And as always, thank you for your time. Time is our most valuable asset. I always appreciate you spending some of yours with me. Be well, and thank you.